Hello, welcome back guys. In this video we are taking a look at Alibaba and what is happening today in the pre-market hours, pre-market trading. I don't know if you are following pre-market. I tend to do follow pre-market quite a lot because interesting things can happen there, and this is what has been happening today all day pre-market. So the stock at some point was down like 5%, then up 5%, and now it's up actually down 5%, almost like 4% right now. And you may be wondering what happened. Why this roller coaster? Why is it going up and down so much? And there is a reason for this, and we're going to examine it in this video. Now, before we do so, you can kind of see that generally speaking, news are positive about Alibaba. They are talking about the rally, but they are also explaining why the shares are trading lower pre-market after a brief jump, which is basically what I just told you. Now, let's take a look at what actually happened in terms of the pre-market. What's happening in the pre-market actually right now even. And I will refresh it because it changes all the time. Like if you are active right now on it, you will see massive changes pretty much by the minute here. And you'll notice this. The pre-market high was 128 at some point, and the pre-market low was 111. And take a look at this pre-market volume. This is almost trading as if the market is open right now. So massive amounts of volume here based on this news over here, which are not like something too significant, but you can see how much a company like Alibaba is affected just because of these things. So let's take a look at what happened. First things first, we have talked a little bit about why Alibaba stock has jumped in the highest levels in months really, what was driving the shares, and we have examined that China's gaming regulator greenlit the publishing licenses for 60 games on Tuesday really, and this was the first list of approved video games since the end of April. And this was basically a sign of easing regulatory pressures, basically, in terms of gaming stocks, for example, and the tech sector, pretty much. And there has been this crackdown that has caused a lot of Chinese stocks and the whole market, really, to crash and lose like 50% of their values, like a lot of shares, a lot of stocks, and sometimes some of them even more, sometimes even massively more, like Didi, which lost like 90% plus. So this actually regulatory scrutiny happened last summer, and in the recent months they were working to clarify the regulatory picture basically for tech stocks. It looks like for Didi they actually re-established some of their applications, for instance, and so it looks like regulatory pressures are easing right now, and this is why we saw this jump yesterday pretty much of like 15% or something of that sort. And now today, what happened today? So you will see here's why Alibaba shares are trading lower pre-market after brief jump. Now at first you will see here that the shares were actually gaining in the pre-market because there were some reports that there would be a revival of the IPO of Alibaba's fintech affiliate Ant Group. And because of this happening, of course, people were excited and they started buying even more. And at some point, the shares actually reached $127 in pretty much in the pre-market of the US. That's the ADR. And so what happened here is, of course, all these news are very, very nice for investors. I mean, they are looking at easing regulatory pressures and things of that sort. And all of a sudden, we are getting that authorities basically here said that they are actually not looking to do that because they have actually snubbed previous reports. And you will see here in the Street Insider pretty much that China's CSRC says not conducting work on reviving Ant IPO. That's reported by Bloomberg. And of course, this was an important news. It kind of switched the sentiment very, very quickly here. And this is why you are looking at from a 5% gain to a 5% loss right now. So it's it's basically a range of 10% here. This will happen. I mean, in these kinds of markets, you can have like a small piece of news and you can severely affect the company, especially if it has been battered so much, and especially if there's like politics behind this and regulatory pressures, and basically speaking, things that are preventing the normal course for this stock, which would be much higher normally. But again, as I've mentioned in the past, slowly but surely these kinds of news will become better. Now, the thing that we heard yesterday, of course, was Didi, and I talked about this. There was some relief, basically because of the crackdown, which seems to be ending here, and the lockdown relaxation also helped Alibaba lately. Better than expected, also earnings results of the tech companies also helped the US basically helped to actually helped the Chinese tech companies beat the US counterparts in the recent session. And so things were looking highly for Alibaba and other Chinese companies here, and this is why we were looking at much better prices. But yeah, right now, as you'll see here in our tool, and I can actually even refresh that, we can kind of see here what kind of movement there is. Yeah, 4.11% is what we're looking at now in the pre-market. We'll see what happens when the market opens. If nothing else changes in terms of news, this may actually go down a little bit more, because Alibaba's price movements tend to be rather explosive when they happen, so I wouldn't be surprised if that goes lower at some point, maybe 6 or 7%. I wouldn't be surprised at all, unless there is some sort of change in shift in sentiment, basically, because there would be some other type of news coming out. But other than that, I'm probably expecting to have a little bit of a down day today, which can be fine. I mean, remember, Alibaba has actually gained about, actually, let's take a look at the last week. Last week was like 94 at some point, and went up to 121 is the high over here, pretty much. And as you can understand, you can't be expecting the company to keep posting positive days, and it has been up like 40%. So in the last couple of weeks or so. So it won't be happening every day that the company will be having up days. And especially when there is a sort of like negative piece of news, you can see it, some sell-off. This can definitely happen, but it doesn't really affect the long-term trend, which seems to be getting more positive these days. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen in the next few weeks. I did want to make this video just to tell you what is happening, because you may have seen like Germany or Hong Kong up and down a lot today, and you may be wondering what is happening. And so this is the news. This is what is happening with Alibaba. We'll see what's gonna be happening in the next few days in terms of the crackdown, the regulations. Hopefully we're gonna be hearing some better news. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember to like and subscribe, and also you can become a patron by joining our Patreon page and gain access to this tool over here. You can find a link in the description box below this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon, guys. Bye bye.